Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is Dave, and this is MMA for you. We're going to be doing our predictions for UFC 134. That's going to happen on August 27th. So, let's get right to it. We'll start with the prelims and go on to the main card. Okay, first fight tonight we have Rafael Assunção versus UFC newcomer Johnny Edward.
Rafael Assunção.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What not? What does he have that you think will make him win?
Well,
besides getting head kick KO'd by Eric Koch in his last fight.
Okay, he lost 3, over 6 under the Silva. So what? He's a BJJ black belt. He's pretty solid guy. He beats some people who is pretty strong too.
Like LC Davis. Yeah.
So what? You're a guy. How good is your guy, huh?
You always gotta consider octagon jitters, and that's always gonna be tough. But my guy, 11 fight win streak coming.
How many years? That's like what? 06 all the way to 11, 5 years to win 11 fights. So what?
Yeah, man. 2 or 3 fights every year, man. It's not. It's definitely really good. He also has a lot of wins by submission as well. So I don't think, Assunção will threaten him that much by the submission, his submission prowess.
Okay, next.
Next fight of that we have Yves Dubuin versus Ian Loveland.
It only makes sense for me to choose Yves, right?
Alright. I got Ian Loveland to win this one, man. His most recent loss is to the number 2 bantamweight in the world, Joseph Benavidez. He does train out of Team Quest. And I think that might actually help his wrestling game to avoid the striking of Yves Dubuin.
It's okay. I know Yves Dubuin is first cut to 135, but he's an athlete. He's strong. He's tough. TPL. He only have 1 victory out of 2 far, but the guy striking is pretty good.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, he definitely has really good striking. But he lost under Zuffa when he lose 3 out of 4. Best win is Brandon Vischer. It's not.
You have to bring out. So what, man? So what?
Well, next fight of the night, then we have UFC newcomer Felipe Arantes versus Yuri Alcantara.
Yuri Alcantara, is that who you're gonna pick?
Yuri Alcantara, man, this is a prospect I've been hearing about for a while. He is coming off an 8-month layoff, which I don't like.
I was gonna say that, but hey, you said yourself 8 months layoff, dude.
Yeah, I don't know how big of a deal that is, in context, really. It is a layoff, but this guy is a finisher, man.
I know. So what has been him doing for 8 months?
Probably training, man. Probably training.
Hopefully,
real good.
Hopefully. Felipe is young, 23 years old, well-rounded. I think he has been the busiest. I think he can do it.
You got Felipe, huh?
Felipe.
It's his first time in the UFC. I do like Yuri Alcantara. He beat up Ricardo Lamas in the first round of his. That was his last fight, so that's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, next fight of the night we have the Miller brothers, as Dan Miller is gonna fight Husamar Toquino Palhares.
Yeah, I like Dan Miller, but he's not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
We got BJJ specials Laylock. Dangerous.
This guy is very strong. He has a low center of gravity. Husamar Palhares does. And his BJJ is of that next level. It's a black belt. He's a black belt's black belt. Even going so far as leg lock submissions over BJJ black belts Lucio Linhares. And previously got a leg lock submission on David Branch, who is a Renzo Gracie black belt. Husamar also has a really good wrestling game too. Miller is a tough guy.
He's tough.
He's taking this fight on short notice, which is probably 100th fight he's taking on short notice.
It's just Miller, brother. They take any fight they can.
Yeah, exactly. But Palhares, I don't think Miller has a stand up to really stop Palhares. The wrestling game, I gotta give it to Palhares, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all Palhares.
the keyword of the day. The black belt submit another black belt.
Yeah, exactly.
Scary, dude.
Exactly. Okay. Next fight of the night, we have UFC newcomer Eric Silva versus Mike Quick Swick.
Mike Quick Swick.
Mike Quick Swick, huh?
Yeah.
What's special about Mr. Swick?
Dude, have you seen his hand? Ha! You can't because he's so fast. Okay, yeah, I mean, come on.
Eric Silva is a prospect that I've been hearing about. He's actually one of the, in Bloody Elbow, he's actually one of the top prospects in the welterweight division and is someone I'm going to look out for.
Okay.
One thing about Mike Quick Swick is he's coming off like over a year layoff.
I know, but the guy trail of AK, like you were saying before, 8 months layoff is not a big deal. Well,
This ain't 8 months, dude. This is like over a year, man.
Well, maybe he's training the AKA.
Ring rust is a factor, especially for that long of a layoff.
Okay.
That's the thing.
All right, moving on.
Moving on, we'll go to the Spike prelim cards now, as David Mitchell is going to fight Paulo Thiago.
Good luck. Paulo Thiago gonna kick some butt.
Paulo Thiago, man, I mean, this guy got thrown into the deep end of the UFC welterweight division, fighting Josh Koscheck in his first fight in the UFC and winning by like KO/TKO. After that, he fought like John Fitch, he fought like Volkman, and then he fought Martin Kampmann, then Diego Sanchez. I mean, the guy doesn't get a break until this fight.
Tough, man.
Yeah.
Awesome fight, man.
One thing is with Paulo Thiago, man, if you watch the Diego Sanchez fight, if you remember, I mean,
it's crazy.
This guy's super tired, he's gassed. Third round, he gets mounted, right? And he's throwing punches from the bottom.
Who does that, dude? Who does that?
At the end of the Kampmann fight, Kampmann got an arm triangle on Paulo Thiago, and the guy's still trying to fight this thing. I mean, he just doesn't give up. He's always in the fight.
He got a lot of heart, man. I'm telling you. And plus, don't forget, he's a BJJ black belt, man.
Yeah, exactly. He really goes to that Darce choke, submitting guys like Mike Quick Swick.
Yeah.
Okay. With that.
Thank you for mentioning that.
David Mitchell, he fought TJ Wahlberger and lost. One thing that's notable about that fight is that fight got the record for the most submission attempts in the UFC. I don't know if he's gonna catch something. I can't see him catching Paulo Thiago though.
No, not with Paulo Thiago. And besides the BJJ factor, he has a heavy hand, so
he does.
I mean, if you don't watch out, he can knock you out.
Yeah, he has really awkward stand-up. Actually, he kind of has these weird shakes that are kind of weird, but otherwise, he actually just has naturally heavy hands, though. Okay, next fight after that, we have Spencer the King Fisher versus Thiago Tavares.
Another Thiago.
Yeah, man. What do you see in Thiago Tavares? What do you like?
The guy has solid Muay Thai, great BJJ, and tough guy, dude.
This guy submitted this guy named Awesomely Awesome by more or less getting a guillotine, and he jumped, and whilst Pat Audenwood was still standing, was submitted, even though he wasn't on the ground. It's really cool. Thiago Tavares has really been there. He does have really good BJJ. But Spencer Fisher is quite the veteran of the UFC.
His wrestling is getting weak, dude.
Yeah, but he's just generally a tough guy. He likes to stand a lot of times. But yeah, his wrestling definitely is his weakness. One thing about Spencer Fisher's last fight, he lost against Ross Pearson. And a very game effort, though. Whereas Thiago Tavares was actually lighting up Shane Roller in the stand-up, but he got caught and got KO'd. Spencer Fisher does not have that type of power, though.
So, Thiago wins.
Yep. So, let's go on to the main card, as Luiz Arthur Kane is going to fight UFC newcomer Stanislav Nedkov.
Nedkov.
You got Nedkov, huh?
Undefeated, dude.
Undefeated. I remember one time Luiz Arthur Kane was undefeated, but all undefeated guys lose.
We will see. So what? How's your ground game, dude? How good is your ground game?
I don't know how good Luis Kane's ground game is, but I don't know if he'll get there. I think Luis Kane is gonna put the pressure on. He always pushes forward and will work his Muay Thai. He has really heavy hands.
Well, you never know. Maybe Nedkov will test Kane's strong game. Who knows?
And it could be really good too. I mean, I can't imagine he's like a white belt or anything like that. But yeah, Luis Kane, his last fight against Elliot Marshall, he TKO'd him on the ground and just put the pressure on and just beat him up. And he's not fighting another southpaw striker like Rogerio Nogueira or Cyril Diabate. I think it's all Luis Kane here.
All right, next fight.
Next fight, we have Ross the Real Deal Pearson versus Edson Barboza.
Ross Pearson,
huh? The ultimate fighter winner.
Dude. Plus a solid combination. This guy's involving, man.
He showed some evolution in the Spencer Fisher fight as he was going for takedowns. He does have solid combinations, but I feel that Edson Barboza can definitely match him in the stand-up. He definitely uses... he has a lot more heavier hands. I mean, fought another striker in Anthony Njokuani and beat him. Barboza's leg kicks, man. I mean, if you ever see him, it's just like... He fought Mike Lilo, and he leg kicked him once, and Lilo was flying, dude.
Okay. Next fight.
Next fight. After that, we have Antonio Rodrigo Minotauro Nogueira versus Brendan the Hybrid Schaub.
Brendan Schaub.
I am Brendan Schaub winning this one.
Thank you for agreeing with me for once in a while. But Brendan Schaub wrong there. I mean, good prospect, heavy hands. This guy's really good,
Yeah, one thing about Nogueira is he is coming off a really long layoff over a year.
His chance getting weakened and he's getting older.
Yeah, I mean he's a warrior. He'll stand with Schaub, but I feel that Schaub is definitely the more mobile fighter. If you watch a Gonzaga fight, he definitely moves a lot more. Does pump a jab a little better.
It's fancy full stat, dude.
Yeah, and his last fight against Krokop, man. I mean, he threw a right hand, and Krokop landed like head first to the ground. It was pretty sad, actually.
He killed all my legend. But anyway,
one thing about Schaub, good point. They're trying to build him up as a legend killer, as he beat Gonzaga and Krokop, which is one reason why people aren't really liking him, because they're giving him these legends.
I know, right? What's up with that? You should leave the legend alone, dude. So why you beat some couple old guy, man? What's so wrong? But I can't say anything. Brendan Schaub is really good, so.
Yeah. And this fight, I don't hate Brendan Schaub, but I am actually going to be rooting for Nogueira. You just got to root for the guy. He's done so much.
I mean,
he's a warrior.
The pick is the pick.
But the pick is Schaub.
The pick is Schaub. I would rooting for Nogueira too. Anyway, next one.
Okay, co-main event of the night, as we have two former UFC light heavyweight champions, Forrest Griffin versus Mauricio Shogun Hua.
Forrest Griffin.
You know what? I'm gonna. I know he won he won the first fight against Hua, but I don't think Hua right afterwards. I hate to use the excuses of the surgeries, but it happened. He did get surgery like a week after fighting Griffin, and it wasn't because he got injured by Griffin. He's been nursing knee injuries throughout his career. This time, though, he's not coming off knee surgery.
I know.
And I think we'll see the Shogun who fought Machida.
There's always debating how, which Shogun we're going to see, what kind of condition he's in, whether he has a cardio. I know you're going to tell me, every time he fight back because he has surgery, but I'm still asking you, who Shogun you will see?
I think this time, like I said, he's not coming off a surgery. He's coming off a loss to John Jones, but now he's not going to have that rust, That's the thing. He looked really bad against John Jones. He looked really bad against Mark Coleman. But, he looked great against Chuck Liddell and in both fights against Machida.
I'm not going to say Forrest Griffin going to be, knockout Shogun or anything. And not going to say Shogun, not going to kick the heads out of the Forrest Griffin, but the guy's pretty tough, man.
He is a tough guy. One thing that seems to tire Shogun out a lot of times is the grappling. However, Griffin likes to keep the fight standing, which is the world that Hua will want to be in. And I feel that as Forrest Griffin throws a lot of leg kicks, I just think Shogun throws a lot too, and I think he has a stronger leg kicks.
I agree with you on that. I just think if Forrest Griffin overall well-rounded, much more predictable, much more stable, I'd rather than pick him than somebody I cannot predict. I don't know what Shogun gonna do.
No. Well, in the main event of the night, we have the middleweight champion Anderson the Spider Silva versus Yushin Thunder Okami.
This is no question asked, Anderson Silva all the way.
Anderson Silva is one of the longest reigning UFC champions. He's a consensus, and in a lot of places, number one pound for pound best fighter in the world, for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's striking is definitely above everyone else's in the UFC.
Absolutely.
And right now, this guy really measures range and at times seems to play with his opponent because he really is that good. I think he'll definitely have a jab in Okami's face at all times. The thing that concerns me with Okami is the potential for him to make this a very ugly fight. Wall and stall, maybe get takedowns and just kind of lay there for a while.
But you can't do that with Anderson Silva. You got him, boring fight. He's just gonna go teasing you and then maybe just in charge and knock you out.
Yeah, one thing that's brought up with this fight actually is that Yushin Okami is training with Chael Sonnen.
Oh wow! So?
Well, everyone's saying Sonnen made the blueprint to beat Anderson Silva.
Well, okay, if we still remember that fight, Sonnen didn't win. Sonnen is tired out. He, so what? I mean, you can. Not saying that they will be taking on the ground anyway.
Well, one thing is with Yushin Okami is that he doesn't have that aggression that Chael Sonnen has.
He's very conservative.
Exactly. He's very conservative. You watch a Marquardt fight. I mean, yeah, he pushed forward, but he didn't throw too many strikes. He wasn't going, he didn't have this, go for broke style. It's still very reserved.
I think he would take too long to do a takedown, and then I think by the time he's, initiate takedown, Anderson Silva is already ready for it and then knocking out.
Yeah, man. Anderson has a lot of tools to win a fight in the stand-up especially. Okami really doesn't have too many tools to finish fights. That's the other thing, too. I like that Okami does use a jab. I think that Anderson uses one better. I
feel in every way you can see, and this is it's better.
Yeah. One thing about Anderson is a lot of people will say, his wrestling's really bad. That's a lot of people forget that Chael Sonnen got a lot of his takedowns stuffed by Anderson.
Yeah.
You watch the Maya fight, Anderson stuffed takedowns. He's not incompetent at takedown defense. A lot of people want to think he is, but that's really not the case.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I got for the UFC 134 predictions. If you have any comments, just leave them below. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you very much.
Awesome.